Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Jamie. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button there. Today I'm going to be reading you a scary story off of Reddit No Sleep. This one is about one of my favorite scary story type style things to look into. It's about the Black-Eyed Children. It's titled, I Found a Man Who Claims He Let the Black-Eyed Children into His Home. Hello everybody, my name is Kevin and I read on here more than once about people encountering these black-eyed children. I personally find it creepy as fuck and pray to God I never encounter such an evil. It would be terrifying. The only thing about these encounters is everyone seems to have a natural instinct to not let them into the house, thank God. So I've been curious as to what exactly happens if you do let them in. Well, I was visiting my girlfriend's, Mandy, great aunt in a psychiatric ward, and overheard a man mumbling about the children with black eyes and that no one listens to him. Immediately, my head snapped his way, and he caught my attention, so he went over and we had a little chat with him as they were all eating lunch. I'll do my best to retell the story he told me, word for word. As I said, Mandy and I were in the psychiatric ward when I first heard the man. He was sitting at the next table, and I could hear him mumbling to himself while picking at his arms. He looked as if he was drugged pretty heavily, so I guess there is no way of knowing how true his story really is. But I'm just going to repeat what he told me. Excuse me, sir, did you just say something about children with black eyes? I leaned over and asked him quietly. His head snapped straight towards me, and he stared at me intently. He was probably about 65 years old, and the years were not good to him. He had huge bags under his eyes. There were dark spots covering his face and arms. His hair was a clumpy, ratted mess, not sticking out everywhere. The only thing kept up on him was his lack of beard. Honestly, with his overall mess of an appearance, it looked strange how his face was so cleanly shaven. "Who are you, boy?" he asked, snapping me from my judgmental trance. "Well, my name is Kevin, and I thought I heard you mumbling something about black-eyed children," I asked again. "Yes, I suppose I did, didn't I?" He looked confused. "I have heard of these children before. I was wondering, could you maybe give me a little information about them? If you've seen them or know anyone who has? Any information on them really would be great." You don't want to meet them, boy. They are pure evil." He looked to the ground, shaking his head. "So I've heard. How have you heard of them, sir?" I asked hopefully. "They ruined my whole life and got me locked in this place," he shouted, startling me. "Shh." I frantically looked around, noticing a guard slowly stand up. I waved them away, letting them know everything was okay, flashing them a smile. "Please, sir, if you can tell me some more about them. I want to know what to do if I ever encounter them," I pleaded. "It's very simple, boy. Never let them in. No matter how distressed or nice they seem, never let them in," he said with a lowered voice. "Well, do you know what happens if you do?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Son, I made the horrible choice of letting those demons in my home. Back in 1992, a tear rolled down his cheek. Holy shit, I finally found somebody claiming to have one of those kids in, and he's alive. This could be my only chance to find out what happens. I had to hear this story. Please, sir, will you tell me exactly what happened?" He looked at me for a few seconds, then around the room. He looked incredibly nervous, like someone was going to come after him if he told me. After what felt like an eternity, he finally looked me in the eyes, slowly shook his head yes. This is the point where I will stop telling the story like a conversation. I will just tell you exactly what he told me and save a lot of time and a lot of typing. So this is all from this gentleman's point of view. It was November 19th, 1992. I was watching television downstairs with my wife. Helen was asleep down upstairs, as was my two children, Mary and Bradley. I was watching an old horror movie called The Evil Dead. It was probably around 1:30 a.m., and after the movie I planned on going upstairs to bed. All of a sudden, I heard someone pounding on my front door. Who the fuck? I remember getting pretty angry because who in the hell would be pounding at my goddamn door at 1:30 in the fucking morning? So pretty pissed off, I stormed to the front door and yanked it open, ready to yell at whoever was ignorant enough to disturb my night. When I looked out, it was two children, a boy probably around 8 years old and a girl maybe 11 or 12. They both had their heads hung down looking at their feet. That's also when I noticed they were out in bare feet. Now this is mid-November in Michigan, so anybody that doesn't know, it's fucking cold. What the hell are you kids doing wandering around pounding on people's doors in the middle of the night in bare feet? Helen. Well, I demanded. Please, sir, we're cold, the girl said quietly, still looking at her feet. That's also when I noticed their feet weren't even red or anything, like they weren't cold or anything. Well, no shit, you're walking around in the middle of November in bare fucking feet. I was shocked and pissed off, so I wasn't the nicest person at that moment. Can we please come in? We're so cold, the little boy begged. They never did look up at me, and I never saw them black eyes. Alright, yes, but you call your parents and have them come pick you up, you understand? I said sternly. They both just shook their heads that they understood. Then they slowly walked past me into my home. This was when my life would change forever, and I would live the most frightening half hour of my life. That's all it took, those damn kids. Once they got inside, I quickly walked past them and went straight for my phone. It was around the corner in the kitchen, so I had to leave them out of sight for just a moment as I grabbed it, and I quickly walked back to where I left them, only they were gone. I looked around and I couldn't find them anywhere. Kids, where the hell did you go? I shouted. It was at this point I realized just how quiet the house was. I could have sworn that I left the television on, but yet silence. It was an eerie quiet. Now I was a grown-ass man, and at that moment, for some odd reason, I felt fear. It was the feeling I guess I can only describe as that there was pure evil in this house, and I was its prey. Hello? I called out one more time. I once again was met with dead silence, so I decided I was going to go and look for them. I tiptoed through the kitchen into the living room, and just as I got by the couch, I heard the first scream. It was coming from upstairs, from one of the bedrooms. I never ran so fast in my life, all the while shouting my wife's name and then my kids. I knew that they were in danger, but in that moment I wasn't thinking anything about them damn kids. I was just thinking about helping my own family. I got to my wife's room first, and I'll never forget what I saw that night. It'll be burned into my brain forever. When I opened the door, I saw my wife laying face down on the floor. There was blood everywhere. I ran over to her, but as soon as I got next to her, something pulled her under the bed from her feet. What the fuck? I shouted as I jumped back and landed on my ass. I heard crunching and snapping on her bones, snapped repeatedly, and I could hear chunks of flesh being torn from her body. I ran as fast as I could and dove on the ground, yanking up the bed of sheets to try and, I don't know, save her, I guess, even though I knew it was far too late. When I pulled the sheets up, she was completely unrecognizable. Her legs bent in weird positions with huge chunks of her meat just gone. Her face was twisted in an expression of pure agony and pain. Helen, I shouted, cried my eyes out. I was so upset I almost missed it at first. It was a pair of feet on the opposite side of my bed. My heart hit my chest with a force it never had before. I didn't even have time to react to those feet, moved inhumanly fast, straight out of my room towards the hall. I looked up and just caught a shadow running to where my kids lay sleeping. No! I shouted as loud as I could, jumping, racing after them. I was too late, though. The door slammed shut, and I couldn't bulge it. I screamed at the top of my lungs for them to open the door, but they weren't having it, and there was no way I was getting that door open. So I quickly ran downstairs and I called the police and I told them to get out here quickly. A scream shattered through my body as I heard my own damn children facing the same fate as my beloved wife, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. I was crying hysterically as I ran back up the stairs to keep ramming the door. It was pointless. There had to be something against the door because it wasn't even close to giving in. Then after a minute, I heard complete silence again, and I knew my babies were gone. At this point, he had to stop telling me the story and regain his composure. As do I, guys. We're gonna leave this for part 2. Hit that like button, subscribe. You know you want to see part 2 of this. It's really intense. I'll see you guys next time.